Hello and welcome to Dotnet with Sikhen, and our today's topic is C# functions. C# functions. So what is a function? In C#, a function, usually called a method, is a named block of code that performs a specific task. How to declare a function? So you can see in this way we can declare it like access modifier first thing. Second one is the modifier, it is optional. And then we have the return type, and then we have method name, and in the parenthesis you can pass the parameters, and then we have the opening and closing curly brackets, and inside that we have the statements. So that is basically, you can say like this curly brackets are the body of the method. So inside this body you can write your statements, and here you can see like it performs a specific task. So once you define this method, then the work, or you can say like whenever you call this method, it will always do same type of work. That's what the meaning of a specific task. Now let's look at one example here, like public static int add, and then we have two parameters here, int a and int b. We can have n number of parameters, or we can have 0 parameters also. Okay, now what is the meaning of this? So let's try to understand like here what is happening, right? So we are taking two parameters here, and we are adding these two parameters with these two values in the variable, and then we return it, right? So always whenever you pass some data here, let's say 1 or 2, then it will add 1 plus 2 3, and then it will return. So next time when you pass, let's say 5 or 10, then it will add 5 plus 10, and then it will return, right? So this is the work of the function. So it performs a specific task whenever you call it. And one more interesting thing is that, like, how do you know this is a function? What is the means? How can you identify it, right? So we have written here like named block, but how can you identify it? So to identify whether this is a function or not, we have the parenthesis. So make sure in a function you must have this parenthesis, and because of this parenthesis we can say this is a function. Now let's move to the next slide, and we will see here the different types of function. So I have written in some category wise. So first look at the by who defines it. So based on this we have two categories here, like built-in methods, or you can say the library methods, and the user defined methods. Library methods are the methods which is defined in the .NET framework, or you can say like .NET provides the library or list of methods. And user defined methods are the methods normally we creates it, right? So that is the user defined methods. Now the second category is like by return type. So normally method returns something, okay? And here there are two categories again. We have void methods, which is no return value, and then we have the another one, that is the value returning methods. So basically method returns the value. And then we have another category, that is the by parameters. So as we know, like we can have methods without parameters, or we can have methods with parameters, and also we can have parameters passing forms. So I will be discussing this thing, what exactly this parameter passing forms in a upcoming videos, right? And then we have another category, that is by location or modifier, means where we create the function. So based on that we have different categories here also, like instance methods, static methods, local functions, extension methods, and some other useful categories also, like overloaded methods, and then asynchronous methods, async await, and then we have the iterator methods using yield. So basically I would say like these are all different types of methods in C#, and based on this category you can see like all these things are there in the C#, right? So let's look at the first one, that is the by who defines it. And here the first one is like built-in methods, library methods, right? So as I told, like the .NET framework provides all these methods, or you can say the .NET library provides all these methods. Now first one is the write line. Now here you can see write line, and then we have the parenthesis. As I told, like to identify the methods we must have parenthesis, and inside that you can write anything. For example, to print something, like the write line method is defined by the .NET library, so this message will be get printed on the console. So that is the write line methods, and always whenever you write something inside this method, it will be printed, right? So this write line is used for prints something and print a line also, right? So that is what the meaning of a write line. Let's look at the another method, that is pow, POW, and it gives you the power, right? So let's say 2 to the power 3, what will be the result, right? So you can write math.pow and 2 3, so it will give you 2 to the power 3, and then it will return to this pi, right, or pi, whatever, and then you can print it. So console.writeLine 2 to the power of 3 is this, right? So here this pow is a inbuilt method, or you can say the built-in methods, which is defined in this math class, and it provides and it is provided by the .NET library. So these are all built-in methods where we are not involved to create these methods. System has already given you. And second category is like user defined methods, where we as a user create methods. Okay, so here one example I have written, like private static void. So you know, like how to declare methods. So this is the access modifier, this is the modifier, and which is also you can say optional, but here it is static. And then we have the return type. So here the return type is void, and then we have the method name, that is the greet user, and we have one parameter, that is the name. And inside this method we write normally console.writeLine hello, and then whatever the name, right? So it will print something, let's say hello Pradeep, or hello Vicky, kind of. So this method, whenever you call it and you pass the parameter, it will print hello and whatever the value you are passing in that method. So this is user defined methods, and you can create as many as methods, right? Like calculate salary, or maybe calculate discount, or maybe anything you can create based on your requirements. So that is the user defined functions. Let's flip to the Visual Studio and we see how it works in a okay. So to fasten the things, I have created one program here, and based on the category what we discussed, like built-in functions and then the user defined functions. So here let's run this one because we have already discussed these things. Let's run it and see the result. Here we go. So the first line is like the write line method is defined by the .NET library, and 2 to the power of 3 is 8. So basically 2 into 2 into 3, 2 into 2 into 2, and which is 8. And the last one is the user defined function, that is the hello wiki. But here one interesting thing is that, like if you define it, then you need to call it, right? Because this write line method is already defined in the .NET library, so you don't need to define, but you need to call it. So this is called calling of the function. Calling, right? We are calling this function. So in the same way, if you define any user defined function, so here we have the greet user, which is defined by the user, means we as a user. So if you define it, so you need to call it to execute the method. So here this is the calling, right? So if you don't call it, then there is no use of this, right? So if you define the method, then you need to call it. So yeah, that's it for today, and I hope you enjoyed this video. So thank you guys, and let's meet on the next part of the function. Thank you.